So my name is Anne Crabtree, and I'm a costume designer for film and television. A costume designer is someone who translates a script into the story that surrounds the actor. The story being this three-dimensional encasement that relays who they are and what they're doing in the plot of what we're watching.
Wear the red
I guess
dress.
The Handmaid's Tale is one good example where I was hired as the costume designer, certainly fulfilled that role over 2 seasons, but also the main design of what I did for the handmaids themselves, for Elizabeth Moss and many others, that became this a means of political protest. And so, in a sense, what I was hired for, I did. I created costumes for a television series, but that went on to have a life of its own politically. So it became a kind of self-fulfilling prophecy, design, and experience for me. From job to job, the amount of work, physical and mental work, is so large that you actually have to forget the job before, because you're moving at a rapid process that if you don't forget everything from the job before, which might have been a week before, you're really in trouble because it starts to enter into the consciousness. For Masters of Sex, we knew that the story was so important for the future of feminists, the future of birth control. And here is someone who really wanted William H. Masters to help people have babies. That's what he was good at. But he also thought, my God, if I could bring, the joy of sex back to couples, they could have babies. And so he was also focusing on that. The idea was for us to create this world that existed before so that people could understand the dynamic between this doctor and this young woman who didn't have formal training but was so perfect for the role of helping women. One thing I did with Michael Sheen was William H. Masters' mother. She would make his bow ties from the time he was a child until she passed, until he was an adult. And there's something very sort of salacious about that and deeply rooted in the psychosis of it being tied around his neck, and also being this kind of banner. And also this idea of an old gentleman's gentleman in a time when he was dealing with very modern ideas. I did that. I made every single bow tie. I made everything in the show, but the ties were really important to Michael Sheen. I don't have a singular inspiration for my work. It tends to be many different cultures and people, and I try to interject art into so much of what I do design-wise. When you're looking at the frame, when you're looking at that scene on television, or The Last Thing He Wanted, with Dee Rees, what Anne Hathaway is wearing in the frame, she is meant to be this character, but I want it to extend the boundaries of the frame and go into people's consciousness in the way that art does.